So as of this moment, I am 19 weeks pregnant, which is about 5 months. I have a 14-month-old baby, toddler. I also have 6 horses currently in my care, and I'm definitely feeling like my life is very, very full. So today I have an update for you. If you're new here, my name is Ruby. I am, just like I just said, a mom. I am an equestrian. I teach riding lessons, and I also am an equine nutritionist, and I wear all kinds of hats. So anyway, I've got a lot going on, and in this video my hope is just to kind of share a little bit about what I'm going through, because I know, especially with my first pregnancy and even still now, it's really helpful to hear other moms' stories about what they're going through and what their life is like, because it just makes me feel a little bit less alone. So my hope in sharing this is that maybe this will reach some of you out there that need to hear it today, and just know that you're not the only one. So right now I am 19 weeks pregnant, which means that the baby is about the size of a mango, which is kind of an odd, like, the fruit thing always trips me up, because I feel like even the same fruit comes in many different sizes, so it's like really not that helpful for me. So the other size comparison that I found is a piece of string cheese, which is like much more uniform. I feel like pretty much all string cheese looks the same, so that was really helpful. And this week the baby is building vernix, which is that like waxy coating on their skin. And I am actually feeling mostly pretty good. I'm starting to definitely feel a little bit more tired at the end of the day, just like physical work. The reality of being in a physical job is definitely starting to catch up to me, and that's been a little bit challenging. But for the most part, I'm still feeling pretty good. At this point in my last pregnancy, I was having really excruciating leg cramps at night, and I'm not having those yet, knock on wood. But my legs are definitely tired. I'm definitely feeling like just the extra weight for sure. And I guess that's the big stuff. Everything else so far has been mostly pretty smooth sailing right now. I am well aware that I'm in this like second trimester bliss, and that is probably going to end pretty soon. So definitely trying to use this extra energy that I have right now to help prepare myself and my home and my toddler and my support system and my barn and my horses and my businesses and all of those things for kind of what I know is coming, because now I've been through it before, and I know how fatigued I felt last time, and I know what I probably will feel like this time, and I know what kind of my recovery looked like last time, and I know what that will probably look like this time. So I feel like a little bit more of a sense going in, and I'm actually hoping to make some videos about some of those more specific things in the next couple of weeks, so that if you have questions about those things, if you're in your first pregnancy, or maybe your first pregnancy with a more active career or hobby or something, that you can kind of have those resources available to you. So that's my goal. In terms of toddler parenting, this is Halloween week, which is really fun actually. Last year for Halloween, she was only 2.5 months old, so we didn't really do anything. We just kind of stayed home. But this year we are doing the whole thing. We're going trick-or-treating. Grandparents are coming over to hang out with her and see her in her costume. We live in a neighborhood that is like the Halloween neighborhood in our town, so our neighbors have warned us. We just moved to this neighborhood over the spring, and now we're in the fall, obviously. So we've been here about 6 months, and our neighbors have really been warning us about how chaotic Halloween gets here. So we're ready. We're buckled up. We have a ton of candy. We're ready to go, and we're going to be just, I think, diving into this whole Halloween thing headlong. So we'll see how it goes. Updates to come on that. But also in terms of toddler parenting, this, just like with Halloween happening, where this has really opened up for us a conversation in our household about what holiday traditions are important to us and what we want to make sure to pass on to our kids, and kind of what things we actually feel like we could maybe do less of or let go of. And we're having some good conversations about that. So we'll see what that looks like and how that unfolds, because I feel like Halloween is kind of the beginning of this kind of string of back-to-back big important holidays. And our families both are really rich in their own traditions. So that's all something that we want to really think about and look into over the next coming months. Other things that are happening in my daughter's world right now, she is really practicing autonomy. I think I said this in the last video too, but literally every question I ask her right now, the answer is no, even like 30 seconds later she changes her mind and it's yes. So I'm really practicing not taking it personally, remembering that she's just practicing saying no and having the option to say no. And so, even things like, do you want a glass of milk? No. And then 2 minutes later, she's like, milk? Okay, yeah, you can have some milk. I just offered you, but that's fine. So that's happening, trying to just stay patient with that and understand that it's just it's a very normal developmental phase, and that it's actually really important for her to learn how to say no. And she also has 3 teeth coming in all at the same time right now. So I'm also just trying to remember that she's probably in a lot of pain and that it's very uncomfortable, and that will make anybody more irritated, but especially a toddler. So just bearing with her through that. And those are kind of the big things, but definitely looking forward to this kind of fun, magical Halloween moment that we're about to have for sure. And the last little update that I like to give is just about my kind of like barn life and business and those kinds of things. I think I mentioned this in the last video, but we ended up shortly after the last video deciding to retire one of my most wonderful trusty school horses. She's just, she's old. She's put in a really good effort over the last, I don't even know, couple of decades at least as a school horse, and she just really deserves a good retirement. So she's mostly done. I'm still using her for some lead line lessons just so she's not bored, but mostly she's pretty much done. And I ended up half leasing 2 new school horses. So we'll see how that goes. They're really cute. They're super sweet, but definitely not my Rosie. So, we'll see how that goes. And so far the kids love them, and it's been great. But I'm also like definitely feeling, even though I'm only half leasing them, just definitely like looking around the barn, I'm like, wow, that's a lot of horses that I'm responsible for. So I'm now up to 6 in my program, 1 personal horse and then 5 school horses, which is pretty wild. So definitely trying to find Rosie a home sooner rather than later, just to unload a little bit of that burden from me, especially as I'm kind of going into this time that I'm going to be less physically capable at the barn. And then definitely really grateful that I found horses to half lease instead of full lease, or even buy. I just think, sharing that responsibility with somebody else is really helpful. So those are all good things. And my last little barn update is I tried to ride this weekend. I got to the barn early for my first lesson, and I had some time, and I had some school horses that needed to get out. And I was like, I haven't been on a horse in like a month. I decided to kind of, mostly stop really riding a while back. And so I was like, kind of had the itch, and I was like, I'm going to just give it a try. And it was pretty early, and it was pretty cool, and it's fall. So I picked the safest school horse I could think of. And he's just very trusty. I've put like 3-year-olds on him. I've put beginner adults on him. He's just my like go-to safe guy. And saddled him. He was fine. Went to the arena, hopped on. He was definitely feeling like a little energetic. And I was like, oh, this is kind of nice. Like, he's moving out nicely today. Sometimes he's a little behind the leg, but he's like feeling good today, I guess. It's nice and cool. And I was just going to walk a few laps around the arena because, again, I'm not taking any chances. I was in a Western saddle. It's like, not taking any chances today. My balance is not great. And I got off and started to walk him back to the tack room. I was not even going to ride him to the tack room, even though I trust this horse wholly. I still was going to get off and walk him to the tack room. And then I saw that look in his eye, and I saw him get a little big and a little tense. And I was like, are you about to spook right now? Like, you're the safest horse ever. I've literally never seen you spook. And since this happened, actually, I've had 2 of my adult clients tell me that they saw him do something similar. So I was like, okay, now I guess I know this is in there because I've never seen this from him myself. And we were walking under a tree and a bird flew out of the tree and he like jumped backwards and did the little scramble and then just kept walking back to the tack room like nothing had happened. But I was like, I kind of took it personally in an odd way, which is so funny because it's something I always tell my clients not to do. But I was like, how dare you spook on my one ride of the month? Like, this is such a big day, and I was feeling so like moved, and it was feeling so special that I got to come out and ride, and the barn was quiet, nobody was around, and it was just feeling like a really special moment. And then you had to ruin it by spooking, and like obviously it's not about me at all, you know? And but it definitely felt that way for a minute, and I kind of like carried that for a minute. And I ended up just kind of reflecting later that like horses just always know how to humble us. Like every time in my life that I've thought I'm getting pretty good at this, or like, oh, like I kind of know what I'm doing, or like this feels in my wheelhouse, a horse will just do something to like, no, you have no idea. You're here to learn, and they always have a lesson to teach, and it's just so good to reflect on that and just have this moment of like, oh yeah, okay, you're right. Like, even though you're a very safe school horse, you're still a horse and you can still spook, which is what I tell all my clients all the time. Even the best horses spook sometimes. Nobody's infallible. And he just had that in him that morning. And even though I had different intentions, he's also a being with a mind of his own, and he does his own things. So anyway, that was my little update. If you're interested in learning more about resources for pregnant equestrians, pregnant people in athletic careers or athletic hobbies, or if you're a toddler mom that's juggling all of these things like I am, stay tuned because there's already a whole bunch of videos here, but I'm also creating so many more right now, and many more are about to come. And I also am creating even more just resources all the time, and I have lots of ideas for this. So please stay connected, and I will hopefully see you in the next video.